This is Ron Goodall from FightHype.com. I'm here with Duran. How's it going?
I love it, man. It's nice to be here in Atlanta for big fights, so I'm looking forward to it.
First thing I want to ask, you had a great holidays, Christmas, everything was good with that?
Yeah, I'm glad to get them all the way, man, and start the new year off, 2020, but after this Badou Jack fight, the day after, Sunday, I'll go straight to Tokyo, get there on the 30th, have a show at the 31st with Kazuta Ioka, and I come back like the day after, so it's a gumball rally for me.
Yeah, but it's something that you're used to, and it's just like another day.
Man, Ron, it's not even a job, bro. You know, it's an adventure.
And seeing that you have the team Badou, Jack, you're working his corner. You're one of the best in the business, and I'm sure there is concerns of like the previous cut you had from the Marcus Brown fight. Can we just talk a little bit about that? Like, is there a possibility of that reopening in this situation?
That's a good question, Ron. Man, Ben's gonna be proud of you, brother. But nah, you know what? The chances of that happening again are slim. The cut was more of a freak accident. It's lightning doesn't strike twice, but in the event that it does, and that's why Badou brought me in. I've had a lot of experience with all kinds of cuts, and including those type of cuts, and knowing what to do outside of stopping them. Whether you should call the fight off or anything like that. So outside of just doing the mechanics, I also know the rules and the business. So Badou's in good hands.
Perfect. And just follow up, seeing that you've had so much experience, where would you place a cut like that in all the cuts you worked with? Seeing that if you were in that corner in that time, was that one of the worst ones, or was it kind of in the middle?
Yeah, I've worked a lot of cuts like that, definitely in the MMA business. But Vladimir Klitschko, when I worked his first fight, the same scenario. Is he ended up getting a headbutt, same type of cut when he fought Vera Williamson, and at that point he was winning the fight. He got dropped like in the 4th round, but I knew he was winning the fight. And when he came to the corner, I told Vladimir and Vitaly, I said, look, you got a bad cut, you're winning the fight, I'm gonna have the doctor stop the fight. So when the doctor came, she knew me because I worked with her many times. She said, well, what do you think? I go like this and I open up the cut, and I said, it's pretty bad. Well, she stopped the fight, went to the scorecard, he won the fight, Vladimir won the fight, and became heavyweight champion of the world for 10 years. So, it's more than just working on a cut, knowing when to pull the plug and how to pull the plug, and I bring a lot of that value to the table.
Seeing that, there's a lot of fight safety, not just from the corner, but seeing that there is now the cut man's duty to also make sure that he uses experience to go, it's enough. I want to ask your experience about a fight that just got announced today of the Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder rematch. Yeah. There was a pretty nasty cut that Tyson Fury suffered in the Otto Wallin fight. Yeah. Is it kind of too soon, or is there still concern on a possibility of that?
Well, that type of cut that falls right on the eyebrows is very, very dangerous, and a lot of times the contact is made there. When that cut was created, it was a perfect shot, right? The chances of that opening up would be better than Badou Jack opening up that cut, so I think it's important for them to have a good cut man.
Outside of yourself, who are some of the other credible cut men that you would recommend future fighters to pick up? Because you're only one person. You can't, you're everywhere, but you literally can't be everywhere. Yeah. Who's some of the great up-and-coming cut men that don't get enough attention?
That's a question you guys have to ask yourselves, right? But, when that's a good question, though, really, it is. But, when I get double assignments, I always recommend a cut man that I've worked with that has done MMA fights, right? Because, to be a good cut man, you just can't do it on the spur of the moment. You got to have experience, and in MMA, these guys get cut all the time, But, Don House, Rob Monroe, these guys do a real good job. Paul Quirello, these guys they've worked MMA, they've worked boxing, and, these are the guys I go to first.
And then seeing that you're not just a cut man, you're also a fight fan, and you've been around the sport, boxing, MMA. You don't mind if I ask a couple predictions and seeing your breakdown?
Yeah, but I don't give predictions. But,
no?
It's because we're all armchair quarterbacks.
Well, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And if I pick you, it'd be this guy.
It kind of works against you.
But if you ask me the probability of cuts, then I could give you analogies on that. But pick them, I don't like to pick them.
How about this then? We use that. The probability of Tony Ferguson fighting Khabib, he's a guy who throws a lot of elbows, but he's also a guy that gets bloody in a lot of fights. Is there going to be cuts in that fight?
Yes, of course. Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's almost a guarantee. And as a cutman, these guys, we prepare for the worst case scenario, so it's going to happen. Yeah.
And also going into the Conor McGregor and Cowboy Cerrone fight, seeing that they're very explosive kind of fighters, but they also Cowboy's a very you know, Cowboy, he fights and he fights until you no longer. You see cuts possibly happen in that fight as well?
I think so. You know, I think so. But, you know, if Cerrone fights in the Muay Thai style, I think he'll beat Conor McGregor pretty convincingly. Oh. You know, he's a tremendous Muay Thai fighter. So we'll see what happens, but I got my money on him. I don't predict, but I got my money on Cerrone.
Perfect. You know. And then, you know, just any last minute words to fans around the world and where they
just want to appreciate you guys all for, you know, being there. I am starting to film a new documentary on my life called From the Fields to the Garden. I wrote a book. It's on Amazon called From the Fields to the Garden because I grew up as a farm worker, picking tomatoes, peaches, cotton, figs. If you ate it, I picked it for you. And the garden is Madison Square Garden. So we did our first filming when Triple G fought at the Garden. So that was that's the end of the film. We actually start filming in January. We do a lot of the interviews. Triple G, Vladimir Klitschko, Andre Ward, Mike Tyson. We got them already locked in. Cain Velasquez, the Diaz brothers, Anderson Silva, and then, you know, we're knocking on Michael B. Jordan's door right now to get him interviewed, but I'm sure he will because, you know, we did Creed 1 and Creed 2 together. Yeah. So it's going to be quite explosive, and at the end of May, I'll go back home to where I grew up as a farm worker because all the crops are ready to be picked. All the farm workers are coming in from all over the world, Mexico actually, you know, and so I'll be able to grab all that footage. So From the Fields to the Garden coming out soon. It's gonna be like 90 minutes.
Oh,
so
wow.
It's pretty badass.
Does it like kind of talk about your transition also?
Yeah, of course. It's from, if you read the book From the Fields to the Garden, available on Amazon, you'll be able to get a little bit of the storyline. But yeah, of course, you know how I grew up as a farm worker, and it's just possible to do anything if you put yourself forward. And, you know, every day it blows my mind that I'm here talking to you and in Atlanta working a big fight on Showtime. And, you know, I'm still that little Chicano that grew up as a farm worker, but I never forget, and I'm blessed to be where I'm at right now.
Well, seeing I'm blessed to talk to you, someone like that's done so many legendary things. I appreciate the time.
Appreciate it.
And definitely I'm going to go check out your work, and hopefully everyone else does. And we'll give a review and a follow-up on it.
All right, yeah, please do that. Let me do a final word. Hey, Ben, give this young man a round of raise.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
It means a lot. Thank you.
All right, my man. All right.